Hey everyone, welcome to Limitless Radiocast, episode 77, hanging out with the amazing Brandon Quiegley today. He's a professional tattoo artist as well as a BJJ blue belt. We get into some of Brandon's background, how BJJ has truly saved his life from addiction, mental health, all kinds of stuff. This is a great episode and very, very important for everyone to pay attention and listen to. So throw those headphones on, turn that volume up, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We'd also like to thank all our friends who help and support Chad and I do this show each and every week. Magic City Brewing Company located in Akron, Ohio. Limitless Tape, M&H Beans, Gateway Dental Care, Hoist IV Level Hydration, Lashley Nutrition Supplements and Supplies, Thomas Webb from D. Hoff Realtors, Lanky Fight Gear, Red Tail Tattoo Company, Candry Law LLC, and last but not least, James Klingerman's BJJ Foundation. Check them out for amazing BJJ techniques, help, and instructionals. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Hope you guys are doing well out there. So Chad and I are hanging out with Brandon Quiegley. If I pronounced that correct, I hope I did. He is a BJJ blue belt and a professional tattoo artist, which Chad and I love tattoos. Obviously, we talk about him a lot on this show, and we've had other people who train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He is in Idaho, where he trains, and he just told me the name, and I wrote it down, and I already forgot, and I'm just going to let Brandon talk about it. Go ahead, Brandon. Thank you so much for being with us. Yeah. I told you I suck at these intros because it's fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on here, guys. Like you said, I'm a blue belt at Southern Idaho Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We are affiliated with Alliance, nice. Which has been kind of cool because Gigi, one of the founders of Alliance, actually just moved. He's 2 hours away from us.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Yeah. So he's got a couple of schools he's opened up in the Boise area. So, I mean, having that level of skill this close has just been awesome.
It makes it good for, I mean, like you said, it's something to tap into, and it's very close. You're not like, you don't have to do it like via technology all the time. It can be like he can pop in because it's kind of close, or vice versa. Like you have an opportunity that you could go there as well if need be, you know, that type of stuff. So that's
cool. Anytime I'm in the Boise area, you know, I was up there in July for a tattoo convention, and I decided to pop in for some morning classes. You know, it works out great.
Nice. How's jiu-jitsu on the fingers? Since those are your money makers.
Oh man. So it's funny because the guy that owns the shop I work at, he's who got me into training.
Nice.
He's a purple belt now, and I tape my fingers like religiously. And he's like, man, why do you do that? He doesn't tape his, but like, I'm all about it. Like I've got it. They're my money makers. Yep.
And my fingers.
And there's really this unspoken rule, you know, you can't wrist lock the tattooers.
Oh,
damn.
And that's Chad's thing.
Yep.
That's actually a really good.
That's a good rule. That's a good rule.
Yeah. Have you ever sustained anything to where you're like, oh crap?
Like no, not to the hands.
Good.
No, it's all knees and ankles and shoulders,
and
necks and all that. Yeah.
Oh man. Yep.
Which is probably the most. I mean, your hands you never really hear about because if it's just a pulled ligament or something, and then we start tweaking anyway as we go. Like
achy hands is what my biggest thing is. You know, but
sure. Go ahead, Chad.
Hopefully, you're using some limitless tape for your fingers every day.
Oh, I've got some of that in my
bag. That's right. The greatest tape out there. You heard it here, not first, because I say it all the time, as Chad does too. It's our tape. I'm allowed to say that on our show.
Yeah. Right? Well, I've been taping my fingers for quite a while. A lot of people, like we have, you know, my other black belt, Pete Schock, who's trained almost as long as I have. He doesn't tape his fingers at all. He doesn't like it. Not that his hands maybe not hurt, but like, he's like, does that really help you? And I'm like, I don't know, but it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
The fingers that do hurt, is it placebo? I don't know, but I don't tape all my fingers. You know, there's a few on each hand, but it makes me feel better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I just tape a few fingers. I don't tape all of my fingers. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, I have noticed that like at competitions and stuff, I'm one of the only guys out there with tape on the fingers. Like if you guys only knew that like these things pay my bills.
Right, exactly. Sure. Yeah, no kidding. How old are you, Brandon?
39.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
You're a young pup.
Yeah.
Except when you're done training, you're like, I don't feel so young.
Oh man, but you know what? I train in the morning, so nothing is ever harder the rest of the day.
That's a good point.
That is awesome, man. That's very cool. Do you is that kind of your setup, like what you've always kind of did?
Yeah, yeah. I actually started, of course, the guy that owns the shop was talking to me about it for a while, and I had every excuse in the book as to why I wouldn't start training.
Sure.
For the longest time, I actually had dreadlocks down to my butt.
Wow, no way.
I actually shaved my head like as part of the journey to start training. And then I was like, I can't make it to evening classes, and then he's a big advocate for not being able to train as well in the evening because of work.
Sure.
So he got the morning classes started. And I was like, all right. So I was there the first day of the first morning class and been doing it ever since.
Nice. Nice. And that's awesome because that's kind of how I say kind of. I've said it before. I mean, it was something I wanted to do, for a long time and just jumped in and do it. But I love hearing people say, yeah, someone was bugging me about it. And I finally just said, all right, I'm going to go do this. And then you become hooked.
Oh yeah. Instantly.
Nice.
Yeah. Sooner or later, you run out of those reasons, right, Brandon? Like, oh, I can't make this class, so I can't do this. And it's like, guess what? We got an early class. Yep. Now what is it? Like
that's kind of how it was. He's all, so we're gonna have a morning class now. You're gonna be there? I was like, I guess I'll be there. I've already shaved my head.
That's a huge part of the journey.
Yeah.
I shaved my head. How long did you let your hair grow to have dreads?
It was 7.5, almost 8 years.
Wow, nice.
And I started like hair this long, so I had these little nubbins. It just looks stupid. And I've got like thin white guy hair that's super straight. So it was just horrible.
Man.
Do you look back now and you're like,
what was I thinking?
They got to look pretty good after like 4 years. They looked awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
yeah.
But, I mean, I've maybe missed them once or twice since I've shaved my head.
Sure. And I mean, you never rolled with them in there, right? Like you never trained.
No.
With it. Yeah.
No.
Because I always wonder.
I was like, a knee's gonna land on it. I'm gonna lose a handful of them, or I'm gonna get choked with them, or who knows what.
Yeah. Like watching guys and gals who train with long hair, I'm always like, I'm impressed. It's like Chad rolling with that nice, luscious beard he has going on. I'm always impressed with people because I'm like, I just don't get how it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
It's wild, man.
The only person that ever grabs my beard is my girlfriend when she's training with me. Somehow she gets handfuls of it, but nobody else does.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. She's trying to tell him something.
Yeah.
She's like, get over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long you been tattooing?
14 years next month.
Oh, awesome, dude. Nice. Very cool. Did you like art like before you started tattooing and stuff?
Yeah, I've always been into art my whole life. I actually was an art major in college.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and dropped out like 3 years in to college and didn't really know what I was going to do. I mean, I had all this art experience and they preached a bunch of, graphic design is where it's at and you got to do all this corporate stuff. But
sure,
I knew in my head that wasn't for me. I mean, I would be down with just, sitting and painting all day or whatever. And I kind of bounced around. I kind of moved back to this area, bounced around, and then started getting a lot of tattoo work done. And it just kind of opened its own doors,
Nice. Very cool. And if you have a passion for it, I mean, it's important. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We've got to tell people more and more all the time. I think we've gotten better, or maybe it's just me being more ear to ground type stuff. But like, we got to tell people to follow their passion instead of following what someone thinks they should be doing. We do that so often, and it is very, very,
especially
tough.
At a young, I have my twin boys just graduated high school last year and talking about college and what they want to do. And I'm like, man, don't think you have to go do that. Right. I mean, I want them to be successful and make as much money as they can and give me some of it, but like, and it took me forever. I came up in warehousing and logistics, and there came a time where I could take over managing the gym that I'm still at. I don't own our gym, but I manage day to day and run it. And that was the best decision I ever made. It's not the most money I ever made, but it's the best thing I've ever done. I, go to work in my pajamas pretty much,
Yeah.
It's like, I was telling somebody the other day, I had to get up early and take my son to Cleveland, which is about an hour north, to get his wisdom teeth out. I'm like, man, we had to set an alarm. I'm like, I haven't set an alarm to get up in 10 years because of my schedule with the gym. And that's, you know, that's a huge thing. Not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure. That's, and like, look at you, Brandon, like you get to do that same thing. You're doing what you love, and you're not doing something just to make financial means. Like you're living, you're doing it because you love it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, this isn't just, and I have turmoil and stuff at work because it's a corporate side of it. I also work from home now, off and on. I'm going to be going back in the office a little bit more, but I also love what I do, so I can vent and complain about it. But at the same time, it's like, I do love this. Like I do love drawing. I mean, that's what I do. So I'm making 3D models. So I love it. You know, so
yeah, that's kind of how I've been. You know, I mean, like I'll do the same thing. I'll bitch and moan about, you know, bad days at the shop or just horrible clients or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, if I could make sure that everything was settled, you know, financially in my life, I would do it for free.
Yeah, because you love doing it. Yeah,
I literally would tattoo all day for free because it's amazing. I've got to meet some cool people. I've got to travel around, you know.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Your field of work, and our tattooer, that he's local and he actually trains jujitsu with us. We convinced him long enough that, because, you know, what do you do when you're sitting down for 3.5, 4 hours getting tattooed? Well, you talk to him about jujitsu.
Yeah, exactly. We do that to our clients all the time.
He's like, finally, he goes, all right, guys, I'm going to come in. Like he kept telling us forever. Then one day Chad was like, dude, Jason showed up today. He's going to train. And I was like, all right, sweet. Like Friday, we talked about jujitsu for a couple hours, because as I sat there, he was tattooing me. It was like, he was asking me different questions and stuff like that. And it was like, yeah.
And he's got a whole new gym of clientele that is coming up to him now. Like, hey, I heard you do tattoos.
Yeah. So for sure.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of that? Both ways. Do you get a lot of that now too, Brandon? Or did you?
Oh yeah, it works both ways. Like we'll do the same thing. So Chris, the owner of the shop, and we kind of sit, you know, on opposite ends of the shop, and it's an open floor space, so we can just banter and talk shit all day long.
Very cool.
And most of the time we're talking jujitsu, or, you know, he's kind of taken over the reins of the morning class. So, you know, like what are we going to teach tomorrow, kind of aspects, trying to convince the clients, you know, you go in, then they'll show up, or then people at the gym start talking to us about tattoos, and then they're on our schedule. And
that's awesome.
It's just a big family.
It is. It really is.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Did jujitsu help physically with tattooing? I know tattooing is very demanding. People that never heard or talked to people that do it, it's very hard, obviously, on your body because of the bending and the twisting. I get that. Did it help at all?
You know, it actually did. And I got this question just the other night. I was working on somebody late, and they're looking at how I'm kind of like hunched over and bent. And they're like, man, does your back just kill you at the end of the day? It's like, no, I mean, I'm a little guy, you know, so in the gym, like I live at the bottom. Like I'll play bottom and just get smashed, and just, you know, that's my comfort area. And it's stretching me out. Like I'm limber as hell.
You're like, come on, top pressure, baby, bring it.
Is that all you got?
That's awesome. That's good. Yeah. I've actually, I've heard more and more, and we're good friends with Derb Morrison. I don't know if you know who that is. He owns the True Two Tattoo Supply, and we had him on the show before. He's a BJJ purple belt, and that was a big thing. Like he said that helped him a lot too, like over the years, obviously, from, you know, training in BJJ and doing what you guys do, because he hunched over back. Just it's crazy. Like I get it, man. Like definitely.
I think that's how, Brandon, is that how you and I connected? Was because we had Derb on the show and you messaged me, or how was that? Right.
That was originally, years ago. And then you started, we started just talking tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And it's just been going on for what, 2 years? Just
probably 2 years.
Tattooers.
Yep.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've got to see your whole arm just come together.
Crazy.
Just come together. Yeah, it has.
I know. And now you got this hand one, and I'm like, man, I've been thinking about doing my hands.
His
pretty
hand,
good, right?
It came out really good.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I'm happy with it.
It's all my fault.
I've been thinking about doing both my hands at the same time.
Oh,
you did tell me that. So yeah.
Have one on each end.
Just bam, just blasting them both at the same time. And as soon as I sit down, I know my nose is going to start itching, and everything else is going to itch, and I'm not going to be able to do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Truth. Facts.
Yep.
Because it wouldn't happen if you went 1 and 1.
No,
it's only
exactly.
because you do both,
Yep.
and then your body's like, aha, I finally got you.
Yeah, because I didn't even have anything like below my wrists until about 9 months ago, and then I got my thumbs done. Like I've kept everything, sleeve complete. I don't have my neck done. I mean, everything else is just legs, torso.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So now I'm to the point now I really want, I want my neck blasted really bad. My wife keeps saying no. I think it's because of what I want on it, but yeah.
Well, you got to tell us now.
I was going to say, you just like
I opened
here's
that
the worm on the hook.
Yeah, I was like, do I really want to tell this story? Okay.
It depends. Is your wife going to listen to the show?
Yeah, she probably will. So I want a portrait of Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my gosh.
But I told her I put it on my left side so she doesn't have to she sleeps on my right.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I can't say that's a terrible actor to have tattooed on you. Which
Jeff Goldblum?
I was gonna say,
young, The Fly.
Version?
Where are we going?
Like current. If you look at his social, current. If you look at his social media and the way he dresses and acts, it's just he is a dapper, good-looking gentleman.
Yeah.
Well, he's changed over. I mean that, and plus his new commercials. I mean, his commercials are geared like that too. Like I don't even know what he's advertising now because I see him every once in a while in a commercial on TV.
It's like an apartments.com.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Deal.
I was like, is it realtor.com? But it's not. It's like an apartments.com or something where
he's got that show on Disney Plus too, and that's like my favorite show.
Oh yeah.
The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Oh man, he does one on tattoos even.
Oh, he does.
Oh man.
Does he never watched it?
He actually sits down because in his hometown Pittsburgh, they have a Jeff Goldblum day, and he actually goes into a shop and does part of a tattoo on a dude.
Oh wow.
Really? Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know if I want
he's
that.
He's just I don't know why. He's just the way he carries himself, I guess, in the world. I was like, man, he needs to go on my neck.
Yeah, he's a very charismatic dude. I saw him on a talk show not too long ago, and it's like you just can't help but watch him when he's on there. He's like, what's he gonna do or say or whatever?
Yeah, and a talented musician.
Yeah,
I knew that.
Got a band.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of amazing that some actors that you wouldn't know about or think about because you've seen them, they've been big, they're good musicians, and they've either been in bands or they're in current bands and people don't even know about it, and they do like little sideshows because he does nothing big. I don't think it's anything big that they do. I think it's
it's just little gigs.
Yeah, so I thought like little gigs. That's what I thought. Yeah, which is kind of cool. Kind of brings I don't know. It kind of brings more realism to it. Like, oh, you're not just like a big Hollywood actor. You're like a normal cat.
You're one of us.
Yeah, like one of us. Right, exactly.
Remember, was it Kevin Bacon, the Bacon Brothers? They were pretty big for a while.
They were. They played here in Canton, Ohio, I think for the Pro Football Hall of Fame thing at one time.
Did they?
Yeah, I think in like the area. It wasn't at the main thing, but there was a stage.
Oh, I gotcha.
They played like in here.
Yeah.
So where we're located, Brandon, it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame is right up the street from us. So during the end of summer, the inductees happens and all that. So the whole town there's a parade and there's a whole week-long thing. So they used to years ago, they used to have a ton of stuff that happened here. It's slowly it's kind of died down over the years. It's not as big as it once was. But then you have Tom Hardy winning gold medals out there and BJJ.
Yeah, I just saw that.
He just won another one, I think.
Just won another one.
Yeah.
Because he's probably, how old is he, Terry? Do you know? Is he in his 40s?
Yeah, he's our age. Yeah, he's around.
So he's in tremendous shape, but he's just ripping those older guys apart. Yeah,
I think his jujitsu's legit jujitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm a blue belt too, Brandon. So I'm with you. and like I never rip on anyone's jujitsu. I'm like, look, at the end of the day, I just, it is what it is, and I'm trying to learn my own journey and my own thing. But I watched some videos of people took and posted of him, and I'm like, wow, like he can move. I'm like, my boy he's got some speed. He knows outlets and how to enter stuff. Very, very good in terms of like he's have some competition under his belt.
You can tell he trains.
You can tell he trains.
Yeah.
He's not a celebrity belt type deal,
Yeah, there's some of that too. I remember that video surfaced. It's probably been years ago of Ashton Kutcher rolling. Right? I don't know if you guys ever saw that one.
He's a brown belt.
Well, and then that's the thing. They said he was a brown belt, and obviously, who was he rolling with? It might have been like Craig Jones or somebody. It was somebody.
Yeah, it's Craig Jones.
And obviously, we don't expect him to beat Craig Jones or even hang with him, but you can tell a brown belt's movements and mechanics if they have them or not.
If they have them or not, right?
He didn't look like he had them.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I saw and supposedly, I think he's from Iowa or somewhere out there, and he wrestled and everything in high school and stuff, but he didn't.
Oh,
man, his
that's
body,
what it was.
His body did not look like he was a brown belt.
They were like, look at his, look, there's a true wrestler in this guy or something. And I was like, I know now what you're talking about. Yeah.
So anyway,
do you guys get a lot of wrestlers in your academy?
I would think so.
I would think so too.
We do. Sometimes they're really fun. The first timers come in because when they'll blast double and they shoot their head to the outside, it's like,
just guillotine them.
Just you're done.
Yeah.
Guillotines and triangles.
It's one of my worst things ever when I first started because I wrestled and it was like, just do it. Nope. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Brandon.
Exactly. We had this one wrestler come in and train with us for a while. It's been a couple years, and he was a state champion. And man, we had to talk to him a couple times, but he came in headgear and cup, and oh god,
he was ready to go.
He was ready to go, and that cup, he knew how to use it, and that shit hurt.
Oh god. Yeah. That's an old trick.
I mean, it's most sports encourage that, right?
They do.
Like, hey, wear a cup, protect yourself. When jiu-jitsu is like, no, dude, don't wear that. Like tournaments won't allow you to,
No,
we don't think we have very few. There might be a couple of our guys do, but I've told them like, hey man, be careful.
Don't be poking nobody with that thing.
You gotta be pissing me off. Yeah.
It's like the worst staple ever.
Yeah, no kidding.
Absolutely.
Explode your calf as they're like stapling over your leg or anything. It's like, what the? It's crazy. So do you ever watch Flow Grappling or anything, Brandon?
Yeah, I do.
Did you watch ADCC?
I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. I saw highlights of it and picked it up.
Okay. Where I was going to go with like those guys not wearing any protection, and some of those guys don't even wear mouth guards. And you're just like, I mean, they're clubbing, they're collar tying so hard. And you're just like, I'm shocked that no one gets hit between the legs really, really hard because of the movements. I know they're, obviously way more caliber technical than I am, but just seeing them or getting their faces, sometimes when they're smashed, it's like, wow, no one gets busted lips or anything, eyeballs and stuff sometimes, but not lips. It's crazy.
Not as much as you'd think.
I know, not as much as you think it would happen, considering
I think it is that high level athlete that knows where they're supposed to be and where the other person is
the
going.
awareness.
It's the awareness, right? Like,
I'm
gonna knock on wood. Like, I haven't been hit there in a long time, right? I think you just learn how to move. When I first started, I would not roll without a cup. This is way back in the, almost early 2000s. So a long time ago, and I came from a karate background. It's like, oh yeah, we always wore a cup, and then I remember forgetting my cup one time and I didn't even do class. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not getting hit, like
not getting hit.
I was like, whatever,
That's very cool. You have, you have any competitions you gonna be doing?
Yeah. Well, nothing coming up. I haven't competed actually. The end of this month will be 2 years since I competed.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of battled a knee injury.
I was gonna ask you, was it an injury?
Yeah, and then 2021 kind of chewed me up a little bit, just in life in general. But I'm kind of bouncing back from that knee injury. I'm actually down to competition weight, so anytime I want to step on, I could,
Nice.
So I don't have to worry about cutting. But I've done some grappling industries.
Nice.
Okay. I've done a few of those. I did my first one at 6 months in as a white belt, and down in Salt Lake, and I was just going to do them all. I did absolutes, I did gi, no gi, I did everything. And I remember, so I come from a background where, like, I didn't play football, I didn't do any contact sports, like nothing like that. Like, I golfed growing up. I golfed and sat and drew stuff. And so this is my first ever, jiu-jitsu is like the first time I've ever had any kind of, an intense, combat based kind of sport or fighting. And the first match of the day was my absolute no-gi. And I weighed in that day, I think at 143 pounds. And all I knew is that the guy I was up against was over 230 because that's all they had was over 230.
Yeah, and you're an
so
absolute.
I'm standing, yeah, and I'm like, all right, well, this is how it's going to be. So I'm standing out in the mat. They're calling the dude to get in, and I'm eyeballing this other white belt at the time. He's just sitting there, and I can tell this dude's over 230. I mean, he's out of shape, and he looks like he's over 230. I'm like looking at him, giving him the, are you going to get on the mat and let's get this thing going? I'm going to whoop you. And they keep calling this guy's name. I'm like, man, this guy just isn't paying attention. And all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I turn, and this dude walks out, and he was like 275, like under 10% body fat.
Man,
just this. And I'm like, oh shit. And it was like 2 minutes in, and he had me peeled apart, and it was over. But that was my first ever match. You know, I went on and competed the rest of the day. I ended up taking gold in gi absolute, and then just my normal division matches, you know, were bronzes. But it was great. And so, you know, from that point, you know, I trained a lot when I first got into it. And I actually did, there was one point, I think I was flirting with 20 sessions a week. Like,
wow.
I mean, it was just, I was doing like between privates and then doing mornings and evenings. I mean, I was in the gym. I lived there. And I actually got my blue belt 11 and a half months into it.
Wow.
So
nice.
So, I mean, I was just going. And then the next time I competed was 4 days after I got my blue belt. So they had told me going into it to like sign up as a blue belt, you'll have it by then. So I did. And I went into that one. I mean, I'll admit I was like a little cocky and kind of like, you know what, I'm training a lot, you know, who cares? You know, I'm not going to cut weight. I'm just going to kind of, because I like that I like to be under 155. And I think I was like at 62 or something. You know, I was like, I'm just going to go into a higher weight division. I'm just going to just do it. I mean, I'm in great shape. And I got my ass kicked all day, all day long. And I was like, all right. And so that was actually February of 20. So right before shutdown happened and just killed everything.
Yeah.
And it was actually the same day Kobe Bryant died. I remember that because
wow.
My coach, he's a huge Kobe fan, and he actually kind of helps grappling industries and runs some of the tournaments, and he got that call that day. So we'll always remember that day. But then shutdown happened, and so I knew that, like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I mean, the good side is I can't do any worse. I mean, you know, in the next one.
Right, exactly.
And so I just trained. So there was a group of us that we kind of had this Fight Club rule kind of deal. Like, first rule of Fight Club is nobody speaks of Fight Club. So even though we couldn't train in the gym, like, guys had mats at home.
Yeah.
I mean, we just hit it hard, like we did it. And so when we finally got back to training in the gym, like, I was ready for battle, you know, and within, I think it was 8 months after that, just getting my ass kicked all day, I went back and I went undefeated all day. You know, I had all submissions and one decision. So
cool. Good
I
for
ended
you,
on
man.
that high note. And that was the last time I competed, was that.
Okay.
So
now you're ready. You're ready to go again.
I am ready. Yeah.
Fired up.
Yep. I need
That's awesome though. Like, you didn't quit. You could have stopped, or you could have been like, I'm not doing this again. Like, this was not a great feeling. You know what I mean? But you didn't. And you know what it's like in jiu-jitsu. It's hard. It's the hardest thing you're ever going to do in your life, probably, you know, like from a physical and mental spot, because you ride that wave, that up and down. And, you know, like, especially as a white belt, I tell people all the time, like, did you experience that too? Like, personally for yourself? Like, was it that some days it's like, I'm not going to get this, or I even know you jumped in?
Yeah. It was exactly that way. It's like, you know, people always told me, you know, the key to it is just showing up.
Sure.
You know, I mean, that's the whole key to it. Just keep showing up. And I mean, I would just go on and I'm like, man, what am I doing? I mean, it would be, you know, when am I going to actually hit a submission? When am I actually going to not get, you know, I mean, I'm just getting my ass kicked, but just showing up, you know, day in and day out. That whole year when I was going, you know, at least, you know, twice a day in privates. And I mean, it paid off. I mean, I was able to, you know, get that, you know, just show up. You're going to have good days and bad days.
Yep.
More bad than good, but, you know.
Right.
Sure.
That's a frustrating thing. That's a frustrating thing to, you know, somebody tell you just keep showing up. Eventually it's like, when is it?
Right.
When's my turn? Right.
Yeah. What's the secret?
What is the secret? Yeah, there is none.
No, just keep showing up.
I was gonna say, there's your secret.
Yeah. I'm coming up on 18 years here in a couple weeks.
Nice.
It's crazy.
There's huge lividity to it, though. At the end of the day, you know, everyone that listens to this show, I imagine trains, and I've said it before, trains in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And if you're a white belt, just keep showing up, man. Just keep showing up. It's going to be terrible some days. And just tell yourself, get up, grab my gi, grab my stuff, get out the door, get to the gym. Just do it, because you're going to feel better. And even if it's a point to where you get to the gym and you don't want to train, just be there. Just be present.
Just hang out
around your team, around your friends, because they want you to be better.
There's many times I had to talk Terry off the ledge.
It did, man. It was hard.
There's a couple times like you wanted to quit, I think, right?
Did.
Or, you know,
I did.
It was like, I'm done. I'm not getting this, you know, like
I struggled. I struggled believing in myself in order to do it. Like I would just be, and I approached jiu-jitsu as a reverse engineering type thing, where I was okay with getting beat up, but at points I would be like, I can't hit this move. I can't even get to this location. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, it's awful. Like, everything is bad, or I'm making a bad decision every time I roll. And it started to bother me. It did start to get to me, and I would question myself a lot. And, you know, I've obviously talked about it with Chad, and I've been very open on this show about it, like riding that roller coaster. Like, I never felt it was normal because I didn't know. And if you don't know what you don't know, you know what I mean? So thank God we all are surrounded by good teammates, you know, in our community, to where I could reach out to them or read something that maybe they posted on social media, and that would help me, like, that up and down, you know, like, oh, it's all right, man. Like, everyone goes through this, like especially in the white belt. Not that you don't go through it through your entire journey, but that white belt, you do. Like, you just ride that not constant, a great week. And then the following week, it's like a completely disaster. And you're just like, what the heck happened? Like, I thought I had this, like, and I know nothing.
And it can even go on forever. And then I remember, like, even, you just sit there and you're just getting you're like, nothing's working. And a little piece of tape around your belt can change that instantly.
For sure.
Dude, that is the biggest. I mean, you can just be like, I don't even deserve the white belt. And then all of a sudden, you know, the coach, like, I mean, they've been watching you and they believe in you and they can see it. And that little piece of tape is like the biggest motivation.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it was the drive to keep going at some points.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. It's like, about a month, I think, something like that, Chad, right? I was just promoted about a month ago or so.
Yeah, about a month ago.
To blue belt. And for me, it was like, I was emotional when I came home. I was sitting outside. My wife knew. She was like, "You're right." And I said, "Yeah, I'm kind of really emotional about this," because it was just different. It was just like, I can do this. And it's felt great ever since. Now I have 3 kids, so I'm constantly doing something. So the last 2 weeks have sucked. I've only got like 1 training session in the last 2 weeks. So I'm like, this is awesome. But my youngest son is super active. He plays football and baseball at the same time right now. So it's like, oh, okay, we're going to do this, and all kinds of stuff's always going on. So I'm okay with that. But after getting that blue belt, man, I felt like a huge weight off my shoulders kind of deal. Like, I belong, because I did question whether I belonged before that, because of like what you alluded to, Brandon. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. Like,
living in the suck.
Right. And it's like, and as Gordon Ryan says, and everybody else, if you don't embrace the suck, you're going to keep sucking. It's like, yep, you're right. You're 100% right. And Chad told me one day, like, I was like, I suck at jiu-jitsu. I text him, and he was like, you should suck at jiu-jitsu. Like, he didn't sugarcoat it, but he didn't mean it in a terms like,
no, but you were like, I don't even know if you were a year in at that point during that conversation.
Right.
But,
and I wasn't.
It's like,
right.
Yeah.
That's
and it's, you know, we talk about it all the time, and I've been trying to articulate this more in class. Usually I end class with a little talk and what we're doing and things coming up. But, you know, I try to get, not to make a speech, but like, who are you ultimately comparing yourself to in jiu-jitsu? And we all compare ourselves to somebody else. You know, it's hard, but you have to have those small goals. Like, I'm not going to keep Terry at the same standards as the 22-year-old blue belt. That's not fair to Terry, you know? So every day I feel you have to go in with, you know, a goal, but a realistic goal. You know, like, if your goal is to submit the black belt, it's probably not going to happen. Right.
Right.
But if your goal is realistically, he submitted me 6 times last time, he's only going to get me 4 this time. that's a legit goal, I feel.
Yeah.
You know,
it is.
Or maybe he's not going to mount me today, or he's not going to take my back, or whatever the case may be. Or I'm just going to get to a position, you know, that's fine too.
Yeah, that's what we've been working on too in the mornings. I mean, it's like, let's focus on this position. Let's just get to that position, you know? And stop, reset, let's go. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, figure it out.
Do you have a favorite position technique?
Oh, for a long time, I played a lot of deep half. Like that was my go-to. Yeah. I love deep half.
Deep half is nice.
And then, oh, dude, I love it there, you know? And that's just, you know, because I think I adapted to it so well because I'm not an aggressive type person. So that first, you know, year of into jiu-jitsu, you know, I was just getting smashed. You know, I was, you know, I play that, you know, from the back and I live there so I can get to it. You know, that's where I'm at. And then from there, I remember we took a private one time from Christian Woodmansey. He was visiting, and Chris, the guy that owns the shop I work at, him and I joined up and did that. And for an hour and a half, we drilled leg locks.
Oh, wow.
Like to finish. And that was our first introduction to leg locks. And then we both looked at each other and were like, this is where we need to live. And so we're like known as the leg lockers of the whole gym. It's
nice.
Just,
nice. Cool.
It's just, we'll take an ankle any day.
That's very cool. And you find that passion for it. Like I said earlier, like, you know, it's the same thing as finding a passion of what you love to do every day of your life. Like, I haven't found exactly what my game's going to be in jiu-jitsu because I'm still I'm still trying to figure that part out. But I think that's huge for your confidence too in jiu-jitsu once you figure that out. Right, Chad? Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Some of that.
Once you figure out what you want to get to and what you want to play, and then, you know, I tell people all the time, like, figure that out and then do it on people that are newer than you. You know, I don't want to say they're not as good as you, but they're not as experienced as you, right? So, you know, try to hit a triangle on the guy they've been there a week, and then move that up to somebody else that's a little more experienced. And then finally you'll be doing it to blue belts or trying it on blue belts. And I told this to a blue belt, one of our blue belts that I do privates with, and he's, you know, I'm 150, 55 pounds. He's 260. He's a big dude, right? So I do try some different things on him, but I was telling him, hey man, try this on a white belt, try this on this guy. He's like, I feel like I'm taking advantage of them if I do that. I'm like, listen, if you don't think I come in and try things on you, you're sadly mistaken, right? Don't feel like you're taking advantage on people. You're trying it. You have to throw, you know, see what sticks, throw something against the wall and see what sticks, and then figure out those reactions, you know? I mean, that's how we teach jiu-jitsu, you know? I do this, you do this, then I do this, you know? And that's, you know, Terry was the big guy though. Well, what if, you know, like he said, he reverse engineers and overthinks things at times.
I do.
And he would always stop me like, well, what if they do this? I'm like, that's a separate class because what if they do that? You know,
for sure.
We wouldn't have jiu-jitsu if it wasn't for the what ifs.
Exactly.
You know,
definitely.
And that takes us back to like the A to B's, you know, let's figure out our A to B's. So, okay, they did this. How do I get back to my A to start it back to get to the B now?
For sure. Yeah.
Yep. It's perfect. And I struggled with that for a long time of going, I'm bigger. I'm 45 years old, but I'm bigger and stronger than, let's say, half the people, even at my age. Like that's just the way it is. And so I felt bad. Like I was like, I feel like I'm going to take advantage of people if I try to do like real stuff here and be aggressive. I've now gotten over that. But for a while, that was hard for me because I'm a super aggressive person, but not until I get to a point. I'm a super nice person and super loving person, but it's like, I got to get ratcheted up. And then when I hit ratchet part, the peak, then I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. Like, and you can, as we all know, you can do that without being a jerk too. Right. You be big, be strong. It's, you know, those people are like, hey, don't use your strength. That's a fine line, right? Like we want you to be technical. We want you to be technical, but use what God gave you. Like I'm flexible. I'm not going to not use my flexibility to recover guard, you know?
Sure.
Exactly.
I'm going to use what my attributes allow me to do.
For sure. So, definitely. Yeah. And I guess obviously I'm a hobbyist at best, but you said it earlier when we talked about ADCC, like these guys are pros. They know where to enter, they know how not to get hurt, and still it looks very aggressive. You know what I mean? It doesn't, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, but they know how not to get hurt being clubbed like that. And that's the thing too. Obviously, Brandon, you know this even now, like as much time as you've already put in, you've seen your own progression. Like, oh yeah, like this is muscle memory. It just happens, you know, which is a is a big deal and goes a long way.
Got to get those reps in, man.
Yeah. You just have to get those
reps in. I hit a straight arm bar on somebody the other day and they're like, how do you get to the elbow so fast? I'm like, it's reps, man. It's just practicing and drilling it and missing it and failing and then going like, oh, yeah, exactly. I got to be a little bit lower on the elbow, you know, or whatever. You just got to get them reps in. It's, you know, I try to preach to we have a lot of wrestlers come in and like, hey, how many single legs have you drilled in your lifetime? And they give me that look like, well, you know, the answer, it's no different here. Get the reps in.
Yeah.
You know,
like what you said, Brandon, like get to a point, get out, reset, do it again, get to a point. Yeah. And you can go live and keep doing that. And that obviously, depending on who you're rolling with, to get that flow in. Because I say that you can do that, but you might pick a guy that's been there for a month and he's not going to let you do that. And it's not because but he's trying to not die for his life. He's like, oh God, this guy's going to try to kill me. And he's super spazzy white belt syndrome and all that kind of stuff. Cause hey, we've all been there. So I get all that.
Yep.
Hey, with tattooing, man, do you like seek out specific people to tattoo you, or is it just artwork itself?
As far as like what I get personally?
Yeah. Just curious.
I'm kind of on this kick now where I'm running out of room. And like we were kind of talking about a little bit before, you know, how it kind of hurts more as we get older, you know, so I'm kind of picky. So I'm kind of getting them as I travel, you know, to different locations, you know, like I was over in Massachusetts earlier this May with my wife, and we were just kind of catching some lunch up in Salem after we left Boston, you know, heading out to the Cape. Our Airbnb wasn't gonna be ready. And so we're kind of walking around and we're like, oh, well, let's go in here and let's just kind of get a tattoo. Or when I say we should, you know, she's like, you should get a tattoo because she just barely started getting tattoos.
I was going to ask you that.
You know, yeah. And so, you know, I got one of my thumbs done up there. You know, I kind of got my thumbs done kind of as kind of a memorial for what I went through, you know, in the past year to year and a half. And so I got that done. You know, we were down in San Diego in August and I really wanted to get one down there. We just ran out of time. I was going to get a fish taco. I was going to get this like hard taco shell with like a dead fish in it, you know.
Nice.
You know, so that's kind of where I'm at now. Is I just kind of want to get stuff when I travel. I do have some pieces planned out. Like I've got one going on my leg right now from one of my dogs. One of the guys at the shop's doing that for me.
Nice.
You know, it's kind of just, I'm really more thoughtful. So the Jeff Goldblum one, I really want to get that done in Pittsburgh just because that's his hometown.
Oh yeah.
I think I got to do that. You know?
It's like a bucket list.
Yeah, it is for sure.
If you get to Pittsburgh, you're only about 2 hours from Terry and I.
Oh yeah.
And then you'll have to come here and let our guy tattoo you with something.
Oh yeah. Well, and
that's
like
actually a good idea.
Talked about, you know, I was actually supposed to be over that way here a week or two ago for the Cheyenne Invitational. It was going on over in Dayton.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's that's further than Pittsburgh for us though.
Is it?
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Dayton's probably a good 3.
Is it?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
Terry doesn't travel very much anymore. This is for work. And then I just complain about that because it turns out to be terrible. So,
but anyway, yeah, that'd be a cool thing to do.
For sure. Definitely. What kind of dogs you have or dog? Dogs, plural or?
Yeah, dogs, plural. Yeah. The one that I've got on my leg, she's my ride or die. Like she's been with me through a lot of shit. And so she's a Boston Terrier boxer mix.
Oh, very cool.
Just a long-legged, long-tailed Boston Terrier. She is disgusting and makes gross sounds and I love her to death.
Yeah. That's your dog though, man. I mean,
yeah, she's awesome. My ride or die, you know. And then we've got a little over a year old red-nosed pit.
Oh,
and so gorgeous. I mean, she's just a lover,
very
a sweetheart.
Beautiful dogs.
And then my wife turns 40 this year, so I got her an early birthday present. I got her a little mini golden doodle.
Oh, okay.
So you got this little fluff ball running around.
I was gonna say a mini golden doodle. You're like not a golden doodle because it'll be as big as the house.
Yeah.
Like, they're very big dogs.
Yeah.
Chad just got a new dog too.
Yeah, we got a puppy this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, we've been wanting one, and my girlfriend has a daughter who's 6 years old, so we wanted to do a rescue is what we wanted to do, but we wanted a puppy too to raise with her. So we found a rescue up in Akron that just got some puppies in. She's 3 months old. They're saying it's a terrier mix. We're not sure what. I kind of think it's kind of mixed with a wiener dog, maybe.
You could see
but
it has that
that face,
a little bit,
but she's got long hair, but she's awesome. She's awesome. So yeah, we did a rescue and filled out the adoption paperwork, and about a half hour later, we were leaving with a puppy. So
making it official.
Making it official.
He's like, well, we did it. I'm like, oh, welcome to Dog World. I have 3 dogs too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a cane corso, Italian Mastiff, and then we have 2 German short-haired pointers, GSPs.
Oh, so small dogs.
Small dogs,
yeah. Lucy's like roughly 125. She's 6 years old. She's my ride or die. She's my loyal dog. She will do anything for me. She is by my side all the time. She's my dog. Even though as soon as I yell, she runs and hides behind my wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're as big as my wife, dog. I'm like, like, come on.
That's kind of how Marley is. Like, she is my dog, but as soon as my wife, like, come here, Marley, like, she will ditch me at the heartbeat to go get love. I'm like, really? Like, we've been through so much in this life.
That's crazy. It is kind of funny. Yeah. Hey, how did the pandemic affect you?
It wasn't too bad over here.
Okay.
Really. Like from it kind of took a turmoil on life, but
we can go into tattooing that and stuff. I just wondered if
it wasn't too bad. Idaho was pretty lucky, and we're one of the last states that doesn't require licensure to be a tattooer.
Okay.
So there's no governing force.
Oh,
so we closed down for like 6 weeks out of courtesy, kind of let's figure out what's going on.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we kind of, worst case scenario, we just go, we're all pretty appointment only anyways. We would just, door locked appointment only, leave the open sign off. But I mean, we really got away pretty lucky, I feel, compared to some of the surrounding states and the rest of what the country was going through.
Yeah.
I mean, Idaho in general was pretty laxed.
Okay, good. I mean, I obviously I want nothing to happen to anybody, but I also wanted everyone to succeed and be able to stay afloat. And that was the biggest thing. Like Chad's talked about on the show before, and we joke about it. Like, I had 9 classes in at jiu-jitsu. That's when I started. 9 classes before, and then boom, we were closed for like 2 months, 2.5, like about 2 months.
Couple months, yeah.
So I had an easy out not to come back.
Yeah.
But I did anyway.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we went to the Fight Club rules. Like, we needed an outlet. I mean, we were going stir crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, just some of the homies got together and just simulated murder, for a couple hours, and
that's what you have
through it.
Everything was right with the world.
Yeah,
right?
Everything was right with the world.
Yeah,
for sure.
Everything was peaceful afterwards.
It's amazing how that helps. It's amazing, like, what it does. I was just talking to a lady yesterday. We had a cancer awareness seminar yesterday at our gym, and Chad, she was the lady that worked up front, or not worked up front. She was up front.
She works from the Altman Foundation.
From the Altman Foundation. We were talking, and she was asking me, and Brandon, you can allude to this, like, why is it so, like, what's the difference here of like feeling this way or having that feeling of you can't think of anything else? And I go, you can't. Like, it's a fist bump, slap, fist bump, whichever direction you're going. And then you cannot think about anything else because he or she is trying to choke you and you are trying to choke them. So anything else that's ever bothering in your life at that point in time is therefore forgot about. So if you spend an hour, it's as good as therapy that you went and sat down with a psychiatrist and told them everything. Not always. I'm not telling anyone out there just to do jiu-jitsu and not go to therapy. If you have to go to therapy,
do both.
Like, I want you to
do both.
Please do both. Please, for the love of God, please do both. But do you understand, like, you guys, Chad and Brandon, you both understand what I'm talking about? Like, there is
for sure
truth to that.
We talked about it all the time. I mean, the world disappears. I mean, the problems disappear. I mean, it's just the mats and you and everybody else there. I mean, it's problems get resolved without even knowing it.
And that feeling of just,
yeah.
I don't think I don't think we've all, we've all had them nights where we didn't want to go to class, and then you go to class and you feel amazing, right? I don't think anybody's ever went to class saying, man, I shouldn't have came tonight.
yeah,
right. It's always it's always the opposite. Like, I'm glad I came, or thank you for talking me into coming, or, whatever the case may be. You're always,
even if you don't train, even if you're just sitting there
hanging out, one of our very good friends, Jay Stu, he's a purple belt. He got hurt at Old Man Worlds. He dislocated his shoulder, and has to have surgery now. So he's getting, he's a torn labrum, but he comes in and just hangs out for the night, comes out on the mat, we talk while people are drilling, or just to get him, keep that routine going.
He was at seminar.
He was at the seminar. Yeah.
For 3 hours.
He came in and paid, donated, and didn't even do the seminar. So it's so huge.
Old Man World.
Yeah. That's when I was, I had this knee injury. I'm still kind of battling, but I was scared to go to the doctor forever. I just didn't, because I don't want to get opened up. I just don't. And I knew it was bad, and I put it off. It was put off for over a year. And finally, my wife convinced me. She's like, just go to the doctor. I'm sick of listening to you whine. And, the quality of training I was getting wasn't, I was just not getting, because I was really careful with it.
Sure.
And I told her, I said, I don't want to go because I'm scared that I won't be able to train. It's going to take me out. She's all, you can still go. Even if you have to have surgery, just go there and hang out. Just like you normally would. She's like, you may be done competing, but I'd never take training away.
Sure. That's true. Good. Yeah. And there's, it can't be said enough. And it's it's the kind of funny, it's like, I need to go to class because I need a hug. It might be a choking hug, but maybe that's what I need today.
Competitive hugging.
Right. I need my teammates to hug me in the most violent way possible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like murder. Did you have a good day? Yeah, I just practiced murder. I feel much better. No problem.
Got cross-faced for half an hour, and now I got this gi burn across my face.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Gi burns are great. I've had a lot of those because I wrestled. So, as Chad would say, stop leading with your face, Terry. I'm like, yeah. Well, that took a while. Like you said, triangles and guillotines were very common in my world at the beginning, because I was like, ooh, shoot double. And then I was like, oh, not good. I was like, get the head on the inside, dummy. Hit headbutt him with your into the hip if you have to.
Yeah.
Just get your daggone head out of there on the side. So that took a while. Nah, that's all right though. Nah, that's very
good. You kind of asked me, about the pandemic. I'll kind of.
I was going to ask you, but I didn't know. You tell what you want to tell, my man.
So I was kind of thinking about this. It's like, I should definitely tell these guys about this. So I've lived a life of active addiction, off and on, super bad, meth addict for a long time, alcoholic. Just, years of sobriety, then relapse. Just been ongoing since 14 years old.
Wow.
And, all the stress and everything of it just happened to be during that time of 2020, it built up and built up and built up. And, like I had said previously, I had that competition in October, double gold. And within 10 months of that day, almost to the day, I was in rehab. I ended up in rehab, the start of 21. I just had so much going on in life and just stress, didn't know how to deal with it. I literally relapsed so hard that I was on the verge of death.
Wow.
And I had actually, I would train occasionally, when I could get up and go, but it had almost taken a back seat too. And it's funny because jiu-jitsu saved my life. It did. Aside from my wife, who was there for me and my biggest supporter and pulled me through it, and stuck by my side. She reached out even to one of my coaches. And there was times when I crashed with him, when I'd been kicked out of the house. He actually, I was crashing with him, and he actually took me for the assessment. And that same day I was off to a detox center.
Okay.
And so 21, it literally saved my life. And I remember coming out of rehab, and I couldn't wait to get back to training, just going and going. I took a little bit of time and I got back to training, just worked my ass off again. And the last stripe I got, like he gave it to me, and I mean, the biggest hug, and it was like, man, if there's ever been a stripe that anybody's ever deserved more, he's like, this is it, right? This is the most deserving stripe. And he wrapped it around my belt. I mean, I was fighting off tears at that point. You could tell he was.
Sure, definitely.
I mean, just to come back from that battle like that.
Yeah.
And today I'm sitting at, August 11th was a year, clean and sober now.
Good for you, man.
Rocking and rolling. So
That's awesome.
It's just been a battle.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing, because as I've said, and Chad and I, we don't like to pry on things. We want it to be we want people to be open, but we're here for you, man. Like literally, if you need something, like reach out, or, hey, having a crappy day, or, hey, I need to hear something stupid, or, hey, whatever, like, because it's important. And dude, Brandon, I'm so proud of you and happy I just met you today. And it's important that you're here. Like, you belong here, man. You belong in this conversation. You belong doing what you're doing every single day, training jujitsu, tattooing people, doing what you love. So thank you for that. And thank you for fighting through.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. You've shown adversity. Like, you've lived through adversity, some of the hardest adversity that you'll possibly live through. And you're sitting here right now to speak of it. And maybe there's someone out there right now, one person listening, that's like, man, if he did it, I can do it too. So that's important for people to understand.
I have no idea if this makes sense or not, or if it did jujitsu help you get back through those kind of things?
That's a good question. Man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it did. It was because the period when I started jujitsu, I had, several years of clean time going, and it was a good outlet for that,
Yeah.
It really gave me that drive, when times are tough and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But then when this last relapse happened, I almost felt so ashamed, like I had let my teammates down.
Gotcha,
I had let everybody down. It's like, I can't do that. But I craved it. I wanted to be there with them. I wanted to be there. And as soon as I got out of detox and into rehab, it's all one of the things I thought about was, getting back on those mats and just, doing it again, showing that, I'm coming back better.
Yeah. Good. It's amazing.
And it's a staple in my recovery. It is a staple. A couple times a week I train now. It's my schedule.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. It's your routine. It's your norm.
Yeah.
And you need it to be your norm, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the right thing. Like I tell people all the time, if you're eliminating something that you need in terms of bettering yourself because of something else, then you need to reassess what you're doing. Like, you're doing it, your routine, if that makes sense. You assessed it like, hey, I need this. Like, after detox, everything, like, I need jujitsu. I need my teammates. I need these people to be around me and to support and to help and just to encourage, or just to be present. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And in a healthy balance kind of way,
yes,
not
exactly.
to let it overtake the other aspects, which
Correct.
is where I'm getting to, so that my whole life is balanced, priorities are home and wife and family, and not, letting anything get out of whack, and still being able to have that time on the mats.
That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Like, truly, man.
Yeah.
Truly. That's
a big thing, man.
That's a big thing. I'm
and
sure.
And not easy. Not easy.
No, not at all.
No, not easy. To go through it, to talk about it. I mean, that's, yeah.
And this is what we need. We need people like you to be open and honest about it. And, we've said it a million times. I mean, jujitsu truly does save people's lives, because you do not know what you're going to get until you're there. You don't know that feeling. Like, there is nothing in the world that feels greater than feeling that love on a jujitsu mat, because let's be honest, I know we talk about violence, and we are violent people. We have things in our head that want to be violent. Yes, we do. We are that way. Whether, I don't care who you are, you're training jujitsu, there's some violence in you. Like, it's inevitable. But there's a lot of love there, man.
I was going to say, but we're also the most emotional, sappy, huggy kind of people too.
That's what I mean.
It's both sides.
Yeah. All my jujitsu teammates and people I see, they get full hugs, man. Like, they get full hugs. Like, prime example. So we had Giancarlo Bedoni, That's who came in and that did our, if you know who that is, he won ADCC champion. I saw him in the parking lot Saturday coming in to the thing, and he like looked. I'm like, Giancarlo. He's like, Terry, what's going on, man? And like we hugged each other. I'm like, dude, good to see you. And it wasn't even like a blink of an eye. It was just like, hey,
no,
big
it's family,
right? And it was just like, yeah, that's who we are. We're also kind of a cult.
with weird pajamas.
That's right, with weird pajamas.
I was sitting watching the seminar yesterday, and somebody that obviously, like we said, just won gold medal at the biggest no-gi tournament in the world, right? And he's there training with us and talking to us like we're friends, and we are, right? I hope that never changes with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I know.
No other sport you can do that. You can't train with the LeBron or whatever sport you're into. I hope jiu-jitsu doesn't get to that point,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So
keeps grounded and humble.
Yeah, I think it will, just because, I mean, you have to stay that way, right? I mean,
and I think being humble in it, do you think it's because of that, like the respect, like what, like at your gym, in your experience, Brandon, like what would you say like humbleness is there?
Yeah, it's based off of that respect.
That's okay.
I mean, you can definitely tell, like if somebody comes in with that attitude, that cockiness, it's that they've just kind of made themselves that outlier. They're not paying attention. They're not listening. They're interrupting. They're well, what, I could do this way and it's better, cool, whatever. But, just shut up and have a little respect here,
Sure.
This is our house.
Yeah.
Right. And as soon as and I've seen people change as well in the gym. They've gone through that change, and all of a sudden, they're part of that family. We look after each other. If somebody's having a hard time with somebody, it's get a couple rolls in, and then all is good.
Yes, definitely. It
Absolutely.
Is. All is well. As always. Well, good stuff, man.
Yeah.
We've had you for a solid hour now, my friend. See, just an hour of your life, man. You're netting back. You get to hang out with two middle-aged guys talking about life and jiu-jitsu.
Nothing better.
That's right. And educating people, not only myself. I made a new friend, and
yes,
it's important. That's something that I think Chad and I always want to do, is
for sure.
Our friendships to people. Why don't we do this? Shout out anything you want to tell people how to get to anything. Your tattoo shop, social media, your gym, your coaches, anybody, any sponsors that you would have in any form. This is anything for you, man, because we put it all in the show notes for anyone to click on. And anything else you want to talk about, you want to tell anyone something, or you want to put out a message or something, you are by all means welcome to do so.
I'll start out with something that's just near and dear to my heart, is that recovery stuff. Some of the biggest battle that I've ever had to realize is the hardest word you can ever say is help, and if there's anybody out there struggling at all, just hit me up, hit up any of these guys, help is there. Anybody you got, it's not that hard to ask for help. Trust me, and we're all here.
100%.
So easiest way to get a hold of me, of course, is probably on socials. You can look me up on Instagram, Brandon Quiegley Tattoos. Drop me a message, anything like that, and I'll be a listening ear. We can go from there. You can also look up our shops page, here in Twin Falls, Idaho, Ascension Tattoo. Any of the guys there, just start looking at the work, give everybody a follow if you like what they got. If you're in the area, stop by and say hi even. We always love visitors. We'll kind of chat with you. We'll kind of be prepared for some tattooer talk, but we have good times.
Hey, there's nothing like hanging out in a tattoo shop, by the way. Everybody else.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Just hang out and you'll hear some things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you will.
I think the biggest thing is I want to give a big shout out to my home gym. You have Augie, he's the owner of the gym, Southern Idaho Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then we also have Weston Walchin. He is another coach. He's one of the other black belts there. And he's been key in not only my jiu-jitsu, but also in having me here today, clean and sober and alive, more importantly. He's been a big influence. He has helped the academy grow tremendously. We've seen great change from both of our black belts, Augie and Weston, and it's going places, you know.
Good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Sponsors, you know, Haichu, hit me up. Let's something works out. It's my lifeblood. I'm living off that stuff every single day. Bags of that. Oh man.
That's it. We're tagging Haichu's in this one.
Yeah, I'll tag him in that.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Man. This young man needs this to be I want a coin slot machine in his tattoo shop and his gym.
Yeah.
Just so guys can just put a quarter in, and Brandon gets free quarters though, by the way.
Yes.
Made this happen.
I just take them to work. I dump them out on the shelf and they're just free for all day long.
Nice.
We just go for it. You know.
That's awesome.
But yeah, thank you guys, man. This has been awesome. You know,
yeah, thank you for doing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Finally sitting down and chatting with you, Chad. You know, it's kind of been messages back and forth for a few years, but
yeah, for sure, man.
It's been great. And Terry, been great meeting you.
You too, man, my friend. If you need anything, brother, just holler. If there's anything, it's like, hey, you just need to talk, or I want to jump on and just chat, and I need to see a different face that's not here in front of me right now or whatever. Like, hey, we try to make it happen, do whatever we can, because I want people to be successful. That's our mantra. Limitless. That's why we came up with that name, man. There's no end to anything you can possibly do. And if we can push you or say something in order for you to do it, then that's what we're going to do.
Cool.
100%.
All right. Awesome, man. Well, God bless you and your wife and everything that you're doing. Keep up the great work.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you guys too.
Make sure you keep us posted if you start competing again. I want to just want to see you get down.
Oh, I will. I'll keep you posted. And I'll also keep you guys posted when I make it back to the East Coast too.
Yes, definitely. Please do, man. Definitely.
Yeah, stop in and
even if it's like, hey, I'm only going to be in town one night, but we're passing through, just holler, man. Maybe we can get together, even do dinner or something like that. Just like
for sure.
At least to catch up, or at least see you and just like, hey, I'll give you a hug.
There we go.
Virtual hugs suck.
Hugging some Haichu's.
That's right. Hugging Haichu's. I'll be like, here, you get a hug. Let's go over here to the to 5 and Below. They have some.
They got some there.
Yes, they have some there because my kids.
Get some East Coast Haichu's.
Yes, East Coast Haichu's.
They hit different.
Yes,
they do.
Yeah,
whole new level.
Yes, sweet, very cool.
Cool.
All right, my brother. Will you take care of yourself? All right.
You guys too, man. Thank you so
much.
much.
Thanks, brother.
All right, brother. We'll see you
later.
See ya.